Podcast Media Podcast Network.
Well, once again, this is another case where I set my watch and the alarm bell went off. It didn't really take that long. Let's get into it. Good evening, demons and demonesses. Kwame Wahkan here. Now, I'm not sure if you guys have kept up about what's been going on in Oklahoma between the school board, between the superintendent. Well, earlier this year, the superintendent, Ryan Walters, had appointed Libs of TikTok, also known as Chaya Rychik, to be on the school board. And one of the things that Ryan Walters is known for is trying to put the Ten Commandments in school, trying to, put the Bible in school, redirecting taxpayer money so that the money goes specifically to Bibles that are being sold by the Trump administration. So his guidelines were, it has to be a leather Bible, it has to have a copy of the Constitution. Now, mind you, no other Bible meets those guidelines except the ones that Donald Trump is selling. So this is a way for, this corrupt superintendent to send taxpayer money straight to Donald Trump. And another thing that this lad did was he was going all around, banning school books, claiming that, books written by LGBTQ authors or books that are written by black people or, are promoting propaganda to kids and, they got to remove pornography out of school. Well, just recently he was caught in a scandal of his own. And believe me, this is not some shit that you would see in like a comedy movie or something. Well, Ryan Walters is being investigated for watching adult films on a school computer. And the funny thing about all of this is that the adult films played during a school board meeting on his TV. I got a news clip for you. Let's watch this bloody thing.
These shocking claims first came to light in a report by the Oklahoman and then the online publication NonDoc. Tonight, we're hearing for the first time from the third board member who was in the room as this unfolded, and he brought up possible impeachment.
Ryan Walters' reaction to what he saw when he spun around and saw the TV. Something clearly was on that TV that shouldn't have been on that TV.
The third board member inside State Superintendent Ryan Walters' office speaking out about what was seen on a TV during executive session.
All I can tell you is, having been in the room, not seeing what was on the TV, but seeing the reactions to Becky Carson primarily, she's the one that initiated the conversation. Why it was on, I don't know.
Former Republican Oklahoma Representative Mark McBride sharing his reaction to the bombshell headline.
I think the board members are professional people. They don't have any reason to lie. He's never taken any responsibility for much of anything that he's done. And I'm not saying that I don't know that he's guilty of this. I believe that the board members saw what they saw.
House Speaker Kyle Hilbert calling for an investigation and demanding Walters to turn over his devices. Mark McBride and Van Danahan say the next move could possibly be impeachment.
I suppose possibly the state legislature could begin impeachment proceedings.
Personally, right now, forgetting this, just putting this to the side, I think that test scores being at 50, Oklahoma being at 50 in education, to me, we're at an impeachable offense. Honestly, it falls on Stitt McCall, in my opinion, because, and I mean no disrespect to the governor, but Ryan Walters is a product of Governor Stitt.
We reached out to the Governor Stitt's office today with questions surrounding these allegations against the superintendent and what actions his office may take, but we have not heard back yet. We also reached out to Walters' office again, but haven't heard back either. They did call this report a, quote, junk tabloid lie.
Now, Ryan Walters has since, denied that he was ever watching porn on, a school computer. But as the reporter said, there were 3 witnesses that said that they saw exactly what they saw. Naked women being streamed live on a television screen during a meeting. Now, I'm not going to knock the lad for watching porn because, let's be honest, I consider myself very pro-sex work, very pro-sex worker. Look, Ryan Walters is a grown man, he can watch porn, but for fuck's sake, during work hours, look, my thing is this: you're an educator, you're a superintendent. Your job is to make sure that test scores go up, make sure that, these children have a safe learning environment, make sure that these children are being taught, to enter the real world so they can get jobs and they can, prepare for college. But, he's clearly doing a terrible job at it. Now, I've looked at the statistics. Now, let me ask you all a question. How many states are in the United States? 50, right? Oklahoma ranks 49th in education. But instead of, focusing on, test scores, focusing on, hey, where are these children falling behind at? What subjects are they falling behind in? Let's see if we can, invest more money or more programs, to help these students. No, the lad is literally sitting in his office playing with himself. Like, seriously, how did this lad even get a job as a superintendent? I mean, he's clearly, obviously bad at his bloody job. This is, a prime example of thou doth protest too much. You want to say that LGBTQ people are trying to, force their lifestyle on the kids, and that LGBTQ people are, writing pornographic books and they're putting it in school libraries. Meanwhile, you're in school watching adult content. And that's the thing that they always say, oh, well, we got to put God back in school. We got to put the Bible back in school. But, hypocrisy has no bounds when it comes to religious conservatives. Who watches the most porn? Guess what? Religious conservatives. Who watches the most gay porn? Religious conservatives. You look at Google Trends, look at the states that consume the most of these types of pornographic material, and sometimes the most extreme pornographic material. Notice how it's always the red states. They always want to go after the left and go after Satanists and go after the LGBT community and say, oh, these people are degenerates, these people are freaks. Meanwhile, look at yourself in the bloody mirror. Like what good reason? What good reason would you have to watch this type of content at school when you know your job is to educate children? You're telling me you're that horny that you can't wait until you get off of work. You're telling me that, I'm pretty sure this guy is married. You can't tell me that this guy's wife isn't satisfying him at home. But, this kind of explains why Oklahoma is ranked 49th. Instead of, investing more into math, science, reading and writing, nope, it's the Bible. It's the 10 Commandments. Now, while you're reading your Bible and learning about the 10 Commandments, I'm going to go in my office and go rub my bollocks. Why did this guy even get a job in education if he clearly doesn't give a rat's ass about the children? Honestly, with the way things are going, I really hope this guy does get impeached, and I hope they do search through his laptop and they find out exactly what the hell he was doing in his office. Because it clearly wasn't school related, and it clearly wasn't education related. And if they do end up impeaching him, hopefully the next person that's in charge is competent and is able to do their job. But you guys let me know what you think. Alright, you guys, stay safe, stay metal, hail Satan, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.